Hello, my name is Sawyer Higgins, and excuse the video, it might be a little shaky. I'm holding my phone recording this and trying to do this at the same time. But here it is. Welcome to Dreamville. So the energy needs here in Dreamville, so the country needs to produce energy in the most effective, safe, and environmentally friendly way. These needs can be met by hydropower, solar power, and wind energy sources. How would the energy be used? So we'll drive electric cars in Dreamsville. Houses receive electricity provided by the solar power, which consists of cooking needs, lights, plumbing, HVAC, outlets, and just fill in the blank with the rest, everything in the house. Industrial sites are powered by hydropower from the river that you'll see later in the presentation. And then external electricity such as barns, charging stations, streetlights, etc., everything in the city, all of that's going to come from a wind farm. Where does the energy come from? So the hydropower. Our hydropower here in Dreamsville depends on the Whitetail River. The river is very large and fast flowing. Because hydropower is only directed to our industrial sites, we can give 100% of this power to our factories and manufacturers. Electricity. A very possible wind farm could easily provide our city with power. Restaurants, stores, town halls, auditoriums, street lights, etc. Once again, fill in the blanks. Everything in the city can be powered through our wind farm. Solar power. Solar power here in Dreamsville will give our homes all the needed electricity for cooking, lights, outlets, HVAC, and car charging ports. And again, you can fill in the blanks. Just everything that runs off electricity in a house will come directly from solar power. How much of each energy source will be used and where? Hydropower, 50% of the factories, 50% of the manufacturing plants. Wind farm, 50% to the city buildings, 10% to streetlights, 20% to stadiums for sports and whatnot, 10% to the town square, and 10% to the conservation in case of emergencies. And then solar power for all the houses, 20% to cooking needs, 50% to outlets, 25% to HVAC, and 5% to conservation in case of an emergency blackout or anything like that happens. Why these energy sources? So solar power decreases human impact on climate change, less air and water pollution. It increases the number of jobs produced yearly, and it is also a renewable resource. Hydropower, it's very reliable. It's environmentally friendly. It's a renewable resource and can meet the peak electricity demand. Wind energy, renewable source. It has low operating costs, and it's very efficient with its use of space and land. Why these energy sources? Part 2. So our weather here in Dreamsville is ideal to support our power sources. The wind is constant, which will keep a wind farm running. It rains on average 3 times a month, which keeps our river running and full of water at all times. The sun shines every day other than when it rains, which allows our solar panels to absorb the energy from the sun. It only rains, 3 times for maybe a day, so that's given, 27, 30 days of sunshine. Maintenance for our power plants. All of these energy sources require regular maintenance. Dreamsville could hire an all-inclusive maintenance team to regularly check our power plants. The teams would have to have the skills to identify and resolve operating issues in all areas of energy production, solar, wind, and hydro. Funding, this was probably the most difficult part of this project, just to find places that you could get funding from for energy. But I found a few organizations which would be positive impact on the financial aspect of energy, and they consist of American Wind Energy Association, American Solar Energy Society, International Renewable Energy Agency, Renewable Energy Association. And then you could also put some government tax dollars towards the funding of building these power plants, exporting goods, so things that you have an excess of in Dreamsville, you could export to different countries and make money that way. And then fundraisers. People in Dreamsville want to be environmentally friendly and all that good stuff. You can have fundraisers and get them to donate money that way. Environmental impacts of these power plants in Dreamsville. Hydropower damages wildlife habitats and migratory paths, takes up a lot of space, essentially taking away from habitat, greenhouse gas emissions from the reservoirs. Wind energy, habitat destruction, high mortality rate of aviation species, and noise pollution. Solar power, habitat destruction and loss, hazardous manufacturing materials. How to combat these environmental impacts. You could designate safe havens for wildlife away from all power sources. Locate the hydro plant away from the civilization and wildlife areas. So here on the safe havens for the wildlife, you'll see in my drawing where of my country where I drew a safe haven. You could put a large wall of nets around the wind farm to keep birds and aviation species out. Use sound barriers and windmills to reduce noise pollution, and then import parts of solar powers for solar power so the hazardous materials aren't manufactured in our country. So here's a map of Dreamsville. Sorry about that. So here we have our two major cities. We have our solar plants that contribute to the electricity in both cities. A wind farm right in the middle of both of those, which powers, our solar plants power the houses in the city, and this wind farm is going to power the actual city itself. Here's my wildlife safe haven. Here's Whitetail River, mountain range. Water's going to drain down here. Here's the hydro plant, and all the energy from the hydro plant is going to go to my industrial production center with my factory and manufacturers. And here are my sources.